but we're not letting this throw us off. We are going to do some writing. We're going to discuss some stuff. So here we go. Before we start to get into the good stuff, I just want to click over here to a couple of things that it's more of a formalized thing as I've been making my way through doing classes for YouTube and then the previous live. First thing, and just right there, guidelines. We are a guideline community. They bend guilt-free, as you can see on that lovely thing, that lovely screen that Alicia made for me. Thank you so much. Rules break. They snap, they break, they're brittle. Don't like them. So we're guidelines. It's sort of like the palm tree in the hurricane. It just bends over and then the wind stops and it comes back and it's all good. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing, we do have a 15-second delay. This allows for the closed captioning, but it does also mean that there can be a delay, like if you ask a question before I can address it. Please don't let that hold you back. And in fact, why don't you, since you're here, drop just a quick hi in the chat. Let me know that you're there. Dr. Matt is, he's on moderating the chat today. So thank you so much, Dr. Matt, for being here, helping out. And if you haven't checked out Dr. Matt's videos on YouTube, please do so. They're excellent, excellent art empowerment videos. Lastly, through here is I do a lot of external processing. Part of the fun of listening to, of doing the live is that I get to express what I'm thinking, how I'm thinking out loud. And if that is your jam, go ahead and listen and work with me or just watch. If it's not your jam, go ahead and turn the volume down. I won't ever know that you've done that. And not that I would feel bad about it anyway. Between sections, I will be calling up the breathe and stretch frame, so just look for that, and that lets you know to come back and bring your volume back up. Okay, so that is that. Now, in terms of class structure, I have basically, in honor of creative writing, and there's two kinds of writers, the planners and the pantsers. The pantsers are the ones who run by the seat of the pants, and the planners are the ones who actually lay out a format and a structure. So we do planning first, or the planner section first, and that is going to take us from a prompt all the way through to a completed story and illustration. And then the second bit is the pantser section, which is more of a loosey-goosey kind of discussions and exercises and things like that. It's just what may be of interest to me that day. Hopefully, maybe it's of your interest that day. So anyways, that's what we got going on. So before we move on to anything else, let's sort of set our space for doing writing, and I'm just going to take us over now to our breathe and stretch. Yes. So I like to do what is known as square breathe before I am going to do my writing. It just helps me to trigger my body to know it's time to start thinking about writing, to start thinking in those ways, and we're going to be putting it down onto paper, or for me it's keyboard. Okay, so we're going to inhale for a count of 5, hold for a count of 5, exhale, count of 5, hold for a count of 5, and then big breath in and out as a cleansing breath. So here we go. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, and with a sigh, out. Just let everything go, including the fact that your sound wasn't working earlier. Just let it all go. We're good. Okay. Now, with all that done, let's start to move into the planning section of our screens, or of our live stream. So here, I'm just going to call this up, and oh, this is not. I had this tested. The iPad is supposed to be sharing right now, and it's not. So how are we going to fix this? Let's see now here. How about if... How am I going to fix this? I'm going to bring this back to Let's Begin. Let me see if I can get this fixed while I am doing this. Actually, I'm going to bring it to here. Okay. I don't understand why it's not working the way I want it to, and quite frankly, the machine is not cooperating when I try to adjust it when I'm live streaming. So what we're going to do instead with this little challenge is I'm going to work on paper. Actually, I'll just want to work here on my keyboard, and I'm going to talk it through. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see it on the screen, but I'm hoping that my explanation on things will come through. Live. Don't you just love it? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I've got my iPad, and I am going to scroll over to where I do my seed word germination. Now, if you're not familiar with the seed word germination, what it is, it's just a way to create prompts. I found people have a really, really hard time with what should I write in any given moment. If you've got a project, great. But if you don't, and you're just looking for something to write, having a prompt can be really helpful. And you can go to various odd places and get prompts, and like people provide prompts all over the place. And that is finding a prompt can be difficult. But if you can make your own, how much more wonderful is that? So that's the whole idea behind this seed word germination. So I'm going to talk it through as I do it for myself, and then I'm going to show it up on the screen. And again, apologies that it's not going to show up on the screen, but what the heck. Okay, so here we go. As a first word for working our way through this, I am going to go through something that expresses technical glitches. In fact, that just sounds lovely. So technical glitches. Whoops, and I want glitches on a next line. Technical glitch is okay. So all I'm doing, just so we can kind of follow it together, so add the seed word and germinate. Let's go the right way. So technical glitches, and I'm just going to make a list of words, and that's all we're doing, is we're making a list of words. And from this list of words, we're going to pull prompts. Okay, so technical glitches, they are frustrating. And frustrating, when we get frustrated, well, there's different ways we can react to it. So I'm going to just say we can react different and ways. This is going to be kind of a therapeutic list of words as we're going through here. And again, just to show you one more time, technical glitches, frustrating, react in different ways. Okay. Hey, when life hands you lemons, squeeze them, because lemon juice, yum. It's useful. You can clean pots with it, whatever. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're squeezing lemons. Okay, technical glitches, frustrating, react different ways. One way we can react is with humor. humor. And, of course, my spell check does not like my Canadian English. It insists on the American. I gotta go in and change that one of these days. Haven't yet. I will. Promise. Sometime this year, it's gonna happen. Okay, humor. So humor is funny, or at least it's supposed to be. From funny, let's just go fun. And I am gonna go down this little rabbit hole because I refuse to have my tech get me down. So so I've got fun. I have let's see here. Where are we gonna go? Fun house. And house. Okay, so a fun house happens at like a circus. 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 There is a circus in Las Vegas, but I really don't want to refer to that. Circus. I'm gonna have clowns. Because, well, that's kind of me. It reminds me of the George Carlin routine about class clowns, so I'm going to add class. And now we have classy, which sort of brings us back to how I hope I'm taking my little tech issue. Yes, I'm still going to bring it up. Okay, classy. Classy. What are we going to do? Sassy, because it rhymes, and it could be acting sassy. Sassy. Talk back. And from talk, I'm going to take radio. And that is a nice list of words. So I'm just going to, again, show you on the screen here. So we've got technical glitches, frustrating, react different ways, humor, funny, fun, house, circus, clowns, class, classy, sassy, talk back, and then underneath the page break is radio. Okay, so what are we going to do with that? Well, right now we have that list of words, and now we're going to grab 3, and we're going to make them and use them to make a story. So let's see now here. I'm going to go with talk, and I really don't want to do radio because like talk radio, it's just so close. But no, I'm going to go radio, but I'm not going to run straight at. I'm not going to run straight at the prompt, and I'll tell you what that means in just a second. And I'm going to go with funny. Funny. Okay. So here we go. There's our prompts: talk, radio, funny. The weird thing about this camera is that it inverts across the horizontal, and so every time I'm moving right, I watch myself move left in my camera, and it's really kind of weird. Anyway, that's why you see it kind of go wonky. Anyways, talk, radio, funny. Now, I could, and I did this last live, sort of run straight at the prompts. And so like talk radio is an instant thing. Talk radio funny, it could be like a broadcaster doing talk radio, trying to be funny, trying to bring out the highlights of the day. I am going to try to avoid running straight at my prompts today. I'm going to try and talk around it, see where it goes. So, talk, radio, funny. Now, I'm going to have someone talking, maybe 2 people talking, so we're going to have some conversation, and then we're going to have the radio maybe playing in the background, and something's going to happen, and it's kind of funny. Now, funny is a fun word because funny can be funny, haha. It can also be funny, strange. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to have a little bit of synchronicity. 2 people talking, and then on the radio is going to play a song that's going to relate to what they're talking to, and that's going to be kind of a strange, funny thing. Love that little thing, so let's just sort of put it down onto our keyboard. Okay, so I don't really want to use names. I don't really want to identify who these people are. I want to set the scene, but I don't want to focus on the people. I want to focus on the relationship. So we do that by saying, They sat quietly in the car. Okay. Sat quietly in the car. Where's the car? Let's have it sort of be kind of a private, shadowy kind of a thing. Did they break down? Is it behind a thing where people are trying to like get away with stuff, or is it a little more open? Are they in the driveway of their house? I think we're gonna go with something like that. Driveway of their house. So it's familiar and sort of it sets up sort of like a family relationship kind of dynamic. Nothing sordid, nothing like that. So it's just gonna be set quietly in the car. They'd only just pulled out from the garage before she, so we'll have her driving, before she stopped it in the middle of the driveway. Now, do we want another she in the passenger or do we want a he? Doesn't really matter. Let's go she. Why not? Okay. So actually, it's going to be hard because if I'm trying to distinguish between two, actually I'm going to go he, and we will let that sort of work out gender-wise, however that works out. But we'll have he, just so I don't have to name names or anything like that. Okay. He sat waiting patiently as she clearly got ready to speak. Okay, so we've got our scene set. Actually, I'm gonna have one more thing. So I haven't really set a time of day, have I? It could be sun full shining. It could be moon, like a moonlit night. It could be completely dark. We could have street signs. It could be raining. I haven't identified any of that stuff. So let's see. Let's have like an environmental mood that will help inform what it is that's going to happen inside the car. In the middle of the driveway. Okay. Let's see now here. I want the lights of the car, the car lights. Okay, here we go. When the car lights, I know there's a better word for car lights, and it's been 8 years since I've driven, and I can't remember what the name is, and I'm not going to bother looking it up right now. If I were doing this not live, I would, although maybe that tech would like mess with me then as well. Who knows? Arr. Okay, so when the car lights turned off, he knew she was getting ready to speak. Okay, so we've set up the scene that way. So actually, I'm gonna pull out the whole thing. He knew she was getting ready to speak because now we've set it here. He sat quietly waiting. Okay, at least we know it's a nighttime thing. She turned to look at him. Eventually, she said, okay, what did she say? Now we have to, what kind of relationship? What is it that's being expressed? Let's just start with, we've been, let's see now here. We've been together for I'm just going to grab the fact that I said I've been in Thailand for 8 years. I'm going to grab the 8 years. We've been together for 8 years. And I've never really pressed the issue, but I'd love for us to talk about getting married someday. Okay, so now we've set our relationship. We have set our expectation for her. How does he respond? Oftentimes, guys will say, "Oh, no, don't like the commitment, whatever, blah, 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 blah." Do we really want to have that in this, or do we want to do something else? And let's also keep in the back of our minds that we have sort of planned a music that's going to come onto the radio. And so radio's not currently on right now. So let's first do that. So he, to buy time, he reached down and turned on the radio. Then, after another minute of not listening to whatever it was that was playing, he said, okay, how is he going to respond? It's a funny thing you mentioned it. I've been thinking about it a lot. I'd like to. Let's just do that. I'm gonna. We could get more complicated and have like an interweaving thing and a big discussion. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but if I was to go back and edit and like really wanted to complicate things out, absolutely can. And can really, really, really flesh this out. I mean, you can turn this into like, one scene of a relationship that has a whole lot of body and history, and you can bring in flashbacks and you can do all sorts of stuff underneath, where the things that she's thinking about in her history, the things he's thinking about in his history, how they interrelate. We could have like an entire, there are plays that are built around less than this, of like one scene, people meeting, and then there's all this memory and history that gets brought in. We're not going to do that here, but we could. Okay. Funny thing, I was thinking about this this the other day, but I wasn't sure how to bring it up. Okay, so now we have that, and we've used funny, so I don't even have to like have something play on the radio. Actually, I have just eliminated the need to sort of bring in this new complication. I could have, still can, but I've covered my prompt, which is really what I was trying to do. And so now we can move on to the next stage, which is let's just have him propose, have a nice sweet ending to this story. So, and with that, he got out of the car, walked around the front, and opened the driver's door. She turned to watch him, bemused, love that word, amused. And as he got down on one knee and pulled a small jewelry box from his jacket. Okay, I'm feeling the name to have a name now, or feeling the need to have a name now, so I'm just going to go with, like, Elaine, because why not? Okay, Elaine, will you marry me? Okay, so we're going to have now, next question. How does she respond? Does she tearfully accept? Does she say, wait, wait, wait? Does she, how does she react to this? And I think what I would like to do is to have sort of a mirroring desire to propose going the other way. And so I'm going to have her say, she looked at him in wonder, then asked, okay, then motioned, so no words, motioned for him to back up, to just a small bit. Just a small bit. His confused and hurt look transformed into joy as she got on her knee, pulled a small jewelry case, small jewelry box from her purse, and asked, okay, so we've got Elaine, I need another name, John. Why not? I'll just go, John, will you marry me? And he can reply, yes, but only if you'll marry me. And she can reply, okay, but you said yes first. And we'll put a big exclamation mark on it. And I think that really encapsulates a lovely little story. Two people in love coming together, and the reciprocity. I like it. It's the balance, and it's just it's in a funny little world, funny little thing. So that's where we're gonna end it. So I'm just going to read it together. Now again, this is unedited, so it is a bit raw. I would have different word choices and whatnot, but really the whole idea is just to kind of get an idea down onto the page, and then you can work on it later. Okay. They sat quietly in the car. They'd only just pulled out from the garage before she stopped it in the middle of the driveway. When the car lights turned off, the headlights, that's it. I knew there was a word for it, so here we go. At least on edit, I'm going to get the headlights right. When the headlights turned off, he knew she was getting ready to speak. He sat quietly, waiting. She turned to look at him. Eventually, she said, you know, we've been together for 8 years, and I've never really pressed the issue, but I'd love for us to talk about getting married someday. To buy time, he reached down and turned on the radio. Then, after another minute of not listening to whatever it was that was playing, he said, "Funny thing, I was thinking about this the other day, but I wasn't sure how to bring it up." And with that, he got out of the car, walked around the front, I'm just going to go of the car, and opened the driver's door. She turned to watch him, bemused, as he got down on one knee and pulled a small jewelry box from his jacket. "Elaine, will you marry me?" She looked at him in wonder, then motioned for him to back up just a small bit. His confused and hurt look transformed into joy as she got on her knee, pulled a small jewelry box from her purse, and asked, "John, will you marry me?" "Yes, but only if you'll marry me." "Okay, but you said yes first." I like it. It's a lovely little story, and there we go. So it's a good start for something deeper if that's where you wanted to take it. Okay, so with that, normally I would illustrate. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and illustrate the story, and I can show what it is that I draw. And so I use Procreate on my iPad. So here we go. This is just the blank screen and my trusty Apple Pencil. And I am a self-taught drawer, and I enjoy the act of taking the story and making it a little more physical. And I have my favorite color, which is sort of a like a brownish, purplish type of thing. And okay, so what is it that I want to focus on inside the story that I want to highlight with my illustration, and that I can draw with my skill level of drawing, which is completely self-taught. And I think what I want to do is I'm going to just draw a car, and so it's on its, whoops, I'm going to back that line up, make the line smaller. So I'm going to have the hood of the car, and it's going to come down. I'm going to have the door open, and that's just sort of a, there we go, car-ish type of thing. And then, okay, so we've got the, it's really not, okay, let's just I'm going to get rid of that, and I know I'm talking out loud, and you're not seeing what it is that I'm doing. But here, I've just got the idea of the car. Not much to look at in terms of a car. In fact, here I'll just put a steering wheel on it because that will make it look more car-like. Okay. And really the important part is going to be two figures on their knees. And for that, really I can just get away with a head. And I am going to, okay, so we got a smile, and there is a nose. This is going to end up looking more like Felix the cat than anything else. Let's see now here, let's bring over the red, and I'm going to have a little heart in the eye, because if it's not going to look anything like what's really going on, then why should I go for realism? Really, this is all about just having something that represents the idea of the story. Okay, so now I've got my first person, and now I'm going to have the second person, and okay, whoops, that is a much bigger circle than I intended. I will look up in a minute. I know my bald spot is just a lovely thing to look at. Let's see now here. Here we go, and there's the nose, and I'm going to do another heart in the eyes. And here, yeah, so this is, he and she, Mr. and Mrs. Lizard with hair. Why not? Lizards deserve love too. Or maybe, dinosaurs or something, or sock puppets. I'm not quite sure what this is going to be. But it's... And let's see now here. I'm going to have... actually, I'm just going to leave it at that, because why not? Actually, no, I'm going to do one more thing. And this is just going to be a tiny little line. And let's see if this is going to work. Actually, here, before I do that, I'm just going to show off here. So, right. So here we go. There's the car. There's the two love lizards, or sock puppets, or whatever it is. Elaine and John, and I'm sure you can tell the one from the other. The hairstyles are very different. Okay, and I'm just going to have like little love hearts bubbling up. Whoops. Because I think it's sweet and lovely, especially given the nature of the story. And my hearts are getting more and more sloppy, so let's see if I can make them a little bit better. And there we go. And we're going to have little heart bubbles floating off into the sky and trailing off. Okay, so we've got something like that. Little heart bubbles. But I love it. It just sort of encapsulates the story. There you go. This is great. I like it. Okay. And that ends the planner portion with nothing absolutely planned of how that went. But we're all good. We're all good. Okay. Let's take it over to breathe and stretch, because frankly, I could use a nice deep breath. I could use a bit of a stretch as well. So I'm just going to move my iPad to the side. Okay, so first, let's just take a nice deep breath in and release out. And now we're going to stretch. I'm going to stretch this way, kind of get my fingers and hands and arms all involved, and I'm going to stretch up. Now, the fun thing is that when I did this last week, or last time, 2 weeks ago, I ended up overstretching my back, and so I kind of twinged it for a couple of days. So, adventures in aging, don't overstretch your back. Okay, shake a little bit. Good. That feels good. Okay. So now what I would like to do is move on to, okay, so I know my share screen is not working. Let's just take a moment from our sponsor, drawingXpressions. Oddly enough, it's us. My drawingXpressions haiku, a creative space, holistically supportive. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Okay. Back to the room. Okay, now the next thing I was going to work on, and actually I'm going to go ahead and work on it. This is the pantser part of our class time, our live streaming time, and I wanted to talk about using stronger words, and the title for it is In Search of Very-ous Alternatives. Very spelled V-E-R-Y. So let's just talk about Very-ous real quick. I'm going to call up my screen. I know I can't share, but I do have notes written down, and I will just put them up onto the screen, and we will just work it. So yeah, finding various alternatives and avoiding adverbs. Okay, so why do I have this thing about very in particular and its cousins really and truly and adverbs in general? So what happens is adverbs can bury our words. They can clutter things up. They can make it so that a better word choice is not taken. So that is the thing that's wrong with them. So an adverb, first off, one second, I just need to get my keyboard to go up. Okay. Okay, so first off, adverbs in general. So what's an adverb? An adverb is a word that modifies a verb, an adjective, or other type of word. It really is going to be anything other than defining a noun, because defining a noun is an adjective, much like red truck. Red being the adjective to the noun truck. An adverb often ends in ly, but not always. So like, I drive. How fast did you drive? I drive quickly. Okay, so quickly is the adverb that's telling us how you drive. Okay, so that's a real simple example for adverbs. And we're going to take aim, first off, at the most egregious of these adverbs, which is very. And I know it doesn't end in ly, but very is definitely an adverb most of the time in its usage. It can also be used as an adjective. We're not going to get into the definite or to the other piece here. It's just when it's modifying a verb or an adjective. Okay, so let's just look at an example. And it's going to be this top bit. It's very hot outside. Okay, very hot. How hot is it? Very hot. In sort of describing how hot is it outside, very hot, I mean, it tells us something, but is there a better way to express it? I also think of it in terms of like, are you hungry? Yes. How hungry? Very hungry. Okay. In real life conversation, we have body language and we've got inflection and we've got all sorts of different little verbal and nonverbal cues that tell us what that very is really trying to say. I'm very hungry. Yeah, I'm very hungry. Right? So even just in that same word, I guess used it in two very different ways. We don't get that in writing. So we have to use better, stronger, faster words. Okay, so let's just say, I'm going to go back to my example here. So we move from it's very hot outside, that's right, rotate it this way, to it's extremely hot outside. Extremely. That's a better word. It's a better adjective. But it doesn't really, I mean, again, I'm using the word hot and I'm sort of slapping this adverb on there. Better yet would be something completely different. And I'm not going to bring this up again. I heard someone who is very sensitive to scrolling just have a hard time, so I'm going to try and limit my screen sharing. It's like an oven outside. Here we go. Now, it's descriptive. It tells me everything I need to know. And it's not just reusing this word hot, right? It gives me something that's juicier. Okay, so I wrote in a quick, simple example of sort of the overuse of very and adverbs and whatnot. I'm just going to read it out loud, and then I'm going to tell you my impressions of it and see how you feel about it. I was very excited to go to the beach. I woke up, ate my breakfast quickly, packed my car really full, then drove quickly there. Actually, I'm just going to stop there. If I had the screen sharing working, I would have more. I'm just going to stop there. I was very excited to go to the beach. Very excited. Can we do better than that? I was thrilled. I was looking forward to. I was planning. I was dreaming about going to the beach. we have all sorts of different ways to express very excited. Okay. I woke up, ate my breakfast quickly. So let's stop there. Ate my breakfast quickly. Ate quickly. Can we find a better way to express that? I wolfed my breakfast. I pounded my breakfast. I smashed my breakfast. I wolfed it down. I think I said wolf before. I don't have to use ate quickly. I can put a better word in there. Okay. Packed my car really full. Really full. It's flat. What can we do with it? I packed my car to the gills. Often a phrase that we use to let people know about how tightly we have packed things in. I'm just gonna, whoops, I've got a cat underneath my chair and I just shifted. So what we want to do is to describe how my car is packed. It's packed to the gills. It's packed beyond capacity. It's packed. It's packed. I jammed a bunch of stuff in there without really thinking about it. Okay, so that's that. And then the last bit, then drove quickly there. Drove quickly. I raced. I rushed. I zipped. I did all sorts of different things. It doesn't need to be drove quickly. Now, the rest of it, of the example, talks about how it was a very hot day and the sand was hot and I went swimming and blah, 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 blah. And what I found interesting was that as I was writing it, two things came to mind. The first is that really it's not interesting and people are not going to really want to read what it is that I've written. And the second thing is I'm not finding it very interesting and I'm not really engaged with what I'm doing. I just kind of want to just like slap it down and leave it. And what I found is that when I'm using more imaginative language, more figurative language, language that engages me as the writer, I want to tell you more about what it is that's going on. I want to add detail. I want to add fun bits. I want to work with this thing. I don't necessarily want to just have it lie there, lie flat, and make it look like a, we had just a flat, uninteresting day at the beach. Yeah. It wasn't, it was okay. No, I want it to be like, I want to have it express that it was outrageously great. And that would just be a fantastic thing. Okay. So that is the basic idea behind looking for alternatives to the word very in particular and adverbs in general. Try and find better words to use. Now, sometimes you do need that adverb, that descriptive word, because you've really packed in a lot of meaning inside the verb, and then you've got an adverb that's sort of adding another twist to it. Those are great. Those are lovely. I'm going to say something about stealthy or stealthily, right? So there's my adverb, stealthily. I hunted, I haunted the mansion stealthily. That's an interesting dynamic. Haunted stealthily. That works great. I haunted very stealthily. Now, get the very out of there. We already know what's going on. Okay. So that is the main message. Look for better words, particularly when you're using very or adverbs. Now, let's bring us back to breathe and stretch. And I'm going to take another nice deep breath in. And hold. And breathe out. And Shake a little, shake a little, shake a little, roll the shoulders back. Good. Okay. I think at this point I've covered everything that I want to cover. So let me just call up my closing screen here. So if you want to share your story, your illustration on social media, because we do have our Instagram account, the hashtag DXLive with Parz. Please tag it, and I will be sure to go look for it. We also have info@drawingXpressions.com if you wanted to email us. But you can find out more about that through our website, which is prominently displayed. Let's get the camera right that way. www.drawingXpressions.com. You can also find our newsletter. You can also find our blog. That is where Alicia and I have started to put some of our stories and writing and whatnot. We're doing a daily, well, she's doing a daily. I'm doing sort of an every so often writing challenge. She's doing haikus. Mine is just sort of whatever is coming to mind. Currently haikus, maybe something else. And so that, I think, wraps things up, and I'm just going to thank you so much for, number one, putting up with my tech issues, number two, hanging out with me, and number three, I hope you're catching the bug. I hope you are catching the writing bug, and that you are inspired to put paper to pen or finger to keyboard, and I look forward to seeing your stuff. Until next time, which is 2 weeks from now, I hope to see you next time. So until then, I'll see you.